With the ongoing coronavirus scare happening worldwide at the moment, and the majority of people being quarantined in their respective domiciles, thoughts ultimately turn to what to do when the remain-in-place orders have been lifted. A lot of those down here in the south will ultimately harbour visions of the beach, the oceans and fruity alcoholic beverages to take their minds off their cherubs constantly screaming, "I'm bored." At the Extreme Sports Games in Colorado a few years ago, a young chap called Caleb Moore attempted to do a backflip on his snowmobile. It went wrong, and although he walked away from the crash, he suffered a bleeding heart and died later from other complications. You would argue that this is entirely predictable, that if you're going to do a backflip on a snowmobile, or cycle down a ravine, or bungee jump into a shark, you may accept that one day it will all end in tears. It's far safer, you'd think, to go for a nice walk. But as I have no doubt you are guessing, this isn't entirely true, because most of the appeal of an extreme sport is in the kit. People don't paraglide off an active volcano unless they are togged up in purple jumpsuit and equipped with a vast range of lime green carbon fibre and titanium skid plates. Whereas when you go for a walk, you think you're ready for anything if you're wearing Wellington boots. You're not. When the cloud comes down, you will wander round in circles until you fall over a cliff, or you will get stuck and you have to saw your own arm off, or you will die from hypothermia. The main reason why America is home to such a high percentage of fat people is because all the slimline walking enthusiasts are dead. By far and away the most dangerous pastimes are those that appear to be safe. Take skiing. It looks about as hazardous as a yogurt commercial. Gentle slopes, joyful rosy-cheeked children, and maybe a family snowball fight. But have you ever been to a doctor's surgery in an alpine town? I have, and it's like a scene from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There is blood on the walls, and in every chair there is a gaunt-looking accountant type with his legs pointing in completely the wrong direction. Once I sat in the waiting room next to a chap who had a ski pole sticking out of his eye. Skating is just as bad. You may imagine your local ice rink is a lot of jolly Torvalindian wholesomeness, and that as a result, the first aid room is full of nothing but a jolly nurse with a tin of sticking plasters. But it's like Damascus in there. There are 4-year-olds with their spines sticking out the top of their heads. Every flat surface is littered with severed hands. Which brings me on to the perils of a beach holiday. It's a beautiful day and you need to cool off, so you decide to go snorkeling. What could possibly go wrong with that? You won't be more than 30 yards away from the beach, and you've seen bigger waves in the bathtub when you have farted. So you wiggle your face mask in the water and spit on the glass. No one knows why you do this, you just do. Then you pop it over your head and take the plunge. Then you go back to the snorkel shop and see if it has another mask that isn't actually modelled on a colander. And then you're off, and it's just all too beautiful. There are fish that look like an Airbus A380 and little blue ones that whiz about at top speed, and the coral looks like the cover of a Yes album circa 1974. You are very happy. You should, however, be absolutely terrified, because, in my experience, for every 5 people that go into the sea, 1 comes out either in tears or in half. God's not daft. He made dry land for nice stuff such as giraffes and koalas and supermodels. And for all the failed experiments, anything dangerous or ugly, he created an environment where the nice stuff couldn't breathe, the sea. The snorkel then is a tool that messes with Genesis. You may not realise this as you bob about, but then you accidentally swim into a completely invisible bloom of jellyfish larvae. You know when you have done this as you are suddenly overcome with a sense that somehow you've caught on fire, and the certain knowledge that if you do make it back to the beach alive, Some know-it-all in Speedos is going to make everyone stand back whilst he urinates on you because it's supposed to calm down the sting. However, if you manage to miss the swarm of so-called sea lice and the fire coral and the rays that want to stab you in the heart, you will eventually need to readjust your mask. So you find a nice bit of sand to stand on and whoa, what's this? Oh no! You've trodden on a completely invisible stonefish that has completely filled your foot with a venom that will be fatal unless you get to a hospital in a big hurry. And that isn't going to happen because someone on the beach is going to say, "Don't call an ambulance, I have a cure for that," as he rummages around in his Speedos. Frankly, you'd be better off being bitten in half by a shark, because everyone knows that urine does not help that circumstance, and you'll probably get to go on a helicopter, or at least half of you will. Certainly you better hope that you don't encounter a stargazer. This is an aquatic honey badger. It's a seemingly harmless creature with a benign name and a gormless face, but don't be fooled because in fact it's armed like a Navy SEAL. Lots of reef fish can sting you, and lots can taser you with an electric shock. But some stargazers do both. Their eyes can produce up to 50 volts, which stun you, and then they sting you with enough venom to cause paralysis. That means that you will soon be run over by a speedboat that has been driven by a man who has spent the morning smoking what Fox News would like to call suspicious-looking cigarette. And how have you prepared yourself for this vivid and silent world of teeth, venom and electric shock treatment? Are you wearing a suit of armour, a neoprene and Kevlar helmet, titanium shin pads? No. Your only defence is a pair of swimming trunks. The message then is clear. You should prepare for a swim in the same way as an astronaut prepares for a spacewalk. And if that sounds like too much of a palaver, forget beach holidays. Check into a Marriott Hilton hotel instead and spend a few weeks lying in bed watching the TV. Or better yet, during this coronavirus pandemic we're currently on, stay in your nicely air-conditioned cocoon watching TV. Then you'll be safe.